mothers likely won't be happy. The news starts now.
As we come on the air, some shocking new details in a double murder at a home daycare in Hopkins. In the last hour, police confirmed that a 41-year-old man stabbed his 41-year-old wife and their 7-year-old daughter to death before shooting and killing himself. We also learned that police believe a different deadly stabbing reported in Burnsville is connected. This is a live look at that scene on the right side of your screen. Police tell us the victim there, a 78-year-old woman, is a close family relative to that suspect in Hopkins. Thanks for joining us here at 5 on air and streaming. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos.
And I'm Lauren Lemanchek. Now, this was a horrifying scene in Hopkins. 6 other kids were inside the home daycare when police arrived. And police say it was a parent dropping off their child this morning that reported what happened. At
this hour, investigators are still piecing together the details that led to all of this. And right now, they do not have a timeline of what happened between the murder in Burnsville and those in Hopkins, which are some 21 miles apart. We do have extensive team coverage tonight, beginning with Jennifer Hoff with more on that connection between these two cities. Jennifer?
Well, Rena, and as you say, there just isn't a lot of information about that right now. I did try and press the chiefs to lay out a timeline on what exactly happened between Hopkins and Burnsville, but they said they are so deep in this investigation right now that they simply could not give any specific details on exactly how all of this specifically unfolded. But they will say that the 78-year-old woman who was found dead in Burnsville was likely killed before the tragedy unfolded here in Hopkins. And more on the Burnsville situation, the chiefs did confirm that, as you mentioned, the woman dead in Burnsville is a close family relative of the people involved in that murder-suicide in Hopkins, and again would not say anything beyond that, as more of that information will have to come from the medical examiner. And again, she was 78 years old. He also said that his officers didn't have any contact with the man who they say killed himself in Hopkins before that. The chief, though, stressing, just like the one in Hopkins has, is that there is no public safety threat in Burnsville either.
We believe it is a close family relative of the suspect in Hopkins. The deceased was a female, age 78. The suspect, we believe, had been recently living in that residence in Burnsville. Based on work between our officers and investigators with the Hopkins Police Department, we believe this tragedy and the tragedy in Hopkins are linked.
What's more, the chiefs are calling this, of course, a domestic incident, but they also said that there is no law enforcement contact at the daycare here in Hopkins, as well as with the man that they say killed himself, his wife, and his daughter. And that, of course, leads them to believe, too, at this point, that they just don't have any details on a motive, on what the heck could have led up to all of this, which is just leading to several communities here reeling. You mentioned earlier in this newscast here about people just heartbroken. That's really putting it lightly here. The chief's really just saying, hug your family members tonight. And I think that's a good thing to keep in mind. Back to you.
It was a very emotional news conference. Jennifer, thank you.
Well, on that note, we want to bring in Morgan Wolf now, who is taking a closer look at what unfolded this morning in the Hopkins neighborhood. Morgan?
Yes, when I first got to scene, I saw some parents being escorted away from the scene by law enforcement, clutching their children as young as, I would guess, 2 years old, and just fear painted across their face.
This is just a tragic situation anywhere in the world, let alone here in Hopkins.
The same walls that once sheltered young children, now the scene of a murder-suicide.
Hennepin County Sheriff wants you to stage on the north end.
There's 3 deceased individuals in the house, and all believed to be related.
Police say that a man stabbed a woman and a 7-year-old girl inside Brown Bear Daycare this morning, then took his own life.
It's believed to be the daycare owners.
6 other children were inside the home at the time, and police say a parent dropping their child off witnessed the attack and called 911.
I mean, there's no worse scenario than this, where you drop off your child to somewhere you think is safe, and you get that phone call.
Care 11 found the daycare record showing that it first opened in 2019 and has been in compliance with the state this year.
We are all reeling with this information.
After violence struck a home that was once a safe haven for children.
The initial officers on scene, this was a tragic situation for them as well. And I could see on the look on their faces that this was one of those ones that you'll remember throughout your entire career, if not life.
Certainly a tragedy that's going to be sticking with a lot of people. Police are still notifying family members of the victims involved, and they have not released their identities yet, but they said that they'll be releasing that information in the days to come. Back to you.
All right, Morgan, thank you.
Yeah, and that entire neighborhood is really still grappling with what happened and remembering the victims. Our Sammy Salinas spoke with neighbors and continues our team coverage tonight. Sammy?
Yeah, neighbors tell me that the daycare residence that all of this happened with is right over there. This is where investigators have been going in and out of. This angle is a little hard to see, but if you can't tell, that's a garage with a mural painted over it, and that is where I'm told the daycare is. Now, when I first arrived on scene, I saw one of those families that Morgan was talking about, a mother with 2 little kids and a firefighter walking them to her car. I asked her if she was okay. She said, absolutely not. And it's difficult to imagine what that mom, what those kids are going through tonight. And that is the question on everyone's minds in the neighborhood. So we talked with a number of folks here today. They told me that they counted 25 police cars shortly after this happened. One man said a police officer told him to get back inside for safety reasons. A few folks witnessed families leaving with their children from the scene. Police say 6 other kids were inside the daycare and residence when this happened.
I'm just hoping that the children are okay, because I know it's a daycare. I've been working here for 4 years, so I just hope the kids are okay.
Completely shocking. Holding my kids super, super close and just trying to do what I can as a mom to keep them safe and be as involved as I can in where they're at and who they're with. But obviously you never know.
Now, another woman who I talked with, she at this time did not have the emotional capacity to be on camera, but she did tell me about that 7-year-old little girl who was stabbed to death. She says that she was shy, but she was very sweet. She wore pigtails in her hair, and she loved to pet the neighborhood dogs, and that she was going to start 1st grade. Lauren.
Sammy, it is just too tragic to really even think about, and people bring up those other kids. You do just feel for them and their families tonight. Thank you. Well, a reminder, if you or someone you know is struggling or in trouble, there are resources available. The number for Minnesota Day 1 Crisis Line is on your screen. It's available 24/7 if you need help. That service is completely free and interpreters are available.
A St. Paul man is